Hey fellas, it's been a long time that I had posted something in my channel. I've been busy with a lot of things, but as this video is coming with a delay, so I thought why not make something special for this video. And I have one of my three best friends, Dr. Florian Wolf from University of Salzburg, who happens to be a clinical researcher. He is investigating acute myeloid leukemia and like really doing heavy stuff out there. One of the seasoned scientists from this region, but at the same time, Flo happens to be a professional diver involved in technical diving. So today's video is not about the things which you have seen in the past, but today's video is very serious stuff which Flo is going to take us through, and this is about technical diving. So Flo, thanks for coming to our channel, for agreeing to talk about the technical diving. So without wasting any further time, I would just let Flo take the flow. Yeah. So can you please tell us about the stuff that you do in technical diving and what's the fun associated with it?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Sunny, and welcome everybody. What's the fun in technical diving? What's the fun in diving anyway? For me, it's basically hovering in the water, and I call it a slow version of flying. So even if you're not interested in underwater nature and underwater habitats, it's basically about flying through a landscape. And but of course, I'm also very interested in underwater biology. But this thing is going to be more about the gear that we are using to do technical dives.
Okay.
I'm currently trained to do dives until a depth of 50 meters. And we are doing this with oxygen enriched gases, and the deep dives to 40 to 50 meters, we do that with trimix, so with helium and with gas that
That's
contains
great.
helium.
So can you please take us through the equipment? So to start with, what is this?
Yeah, so this is just, of course, some fins that and for that kind of diving, they need to be. It's actually beneficial if they have some actual weight. So
Okay.
they are not really light, but and they have a spring strap here, which is very robust, and you can like easily put it on and off. So that's a very important thing for propulsion. And of course you have also a very important part of the gear is the wing, which is actually an inflatable buoyancy control device, which we can inflate with gas from a tank that would be attached here with a hose. And we have a release valve.
Okay, so if you use the release valve, so like it seems inflated. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And may I ask what is this?
Yeah, that's just a piece of lead actually. In this case, it's 3 kilogram. We call it a P weight because of the shape of this weight. And we will actually, when I go diving, I use that weight, which is needed to actually make it possible to actually start the descent.
Okay.
One also important piece of of equipment is our tank light or primary light, which contains of battery tank, which actually gives rise to that light head attached to this handle, which is used like this, and you can point to wherever you want.
Okay.
And that's of course important for orientation, but also for communication.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can do light signals, and that is actually a very good thing to do, and very helpful in the water.
Okay.
If your dive mates know what the signals mean. And
So there must be during the training, it must be included that you understand the language of the light signals.
yes, however, they are not very complex. They are kept easy. Yeah, so there are only a few light signals, but that is all what you need actually. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, this is just one piece. So usually we do dry suit diving, and that is a glove that protects your hands from getting wet. Actually, so when you're diving cold water, that is important.
Okay.
We have also some equipment for orientation, like a compass, which is usually on our left arm. And you just put it on your arm, and you have it here, and you can use it if you need it.
Okay.
And that is also one very important piece of equipment. It's called a bottom timer. It's a bit like a dive computer.
Okay.
It gives you information on the dive time, the depth, the water temperature, and your ascending rates or ascending speed. Yeah. So this is actually a very important piece of equipment, and you have it on your right arm usually.
Okay.
And of course you need to get some gas. For gas supply we have two diving or two breathing regulators. One which is actually, if I start with this one. Usually they are consistent of 3 parts. This is the first stage, which is the part that actually reduces the pressure from your scuba tanks to roughly 10 bars.
Okay.
Then there is a hose, and there's the second stage, which is in the mouth of the diver, and when you're breathing, it delivers you the gas with ambient pressure.
Okay. And what about the other one?
And the other one is basically a backup. So if one system fails, your actual system that you're breathing from, if that fails, you have to have a possibility for a backup. And that is this one. So it's technically it's absolutely the same, and that also contains a pressure valve to read the actual pressure in your tank. So to have a monitor of your gas supply.
So like the containers having the gases would be attached, like these would be attached to these containers.
Exactly, yes.
So on that note, what we see over here are like different type of containers. So can you please tell us about what are the difference here?
So we have here 2 double tanks. So these are tanks with each tank has roughly 11 to 12 liters of gas, and they are connected via this a set of valves, or called manifold as well, and so that means you can actually breathe from one of these valves, and due to this bridge over here, the whole thing is like one volume.
Okay.
When this valve is open, and you always dive with that thing open.
Okay.
And this is like the...
What is this, 33%?
This is a labeling for which tells me what kind of gas is in there, and this is now a nitrox gas, which is, and the 33% means that there is 33% oxygen in that gas. So it's like normal air, but with a higher content of oxygen.
Okay.
And
what about this?
This is basically the same, but I have a second set of these doubles, and this contains a trimix gas with helium, and that is for the deep diving.
So like this cylinder which would have helium, this you usually use when you are diving like to a deeper depths, and that one, the middle one, is for a regular
Yeah, so
diving.
they're like standard rules you kind of apply. And for example, with this gas of 33 or 32 is like actually 32% of oxygen is the standard gas here, and with this gas you go to 30 meters maximum, and with this gas you can go to like 60 meters.
Okay.
However, my current certification is to go to 51 meters.
That's great.
Yeah, so this gas, and the concept, the basic concept behind is to put helium inside into the gas, and that replaces nitrogen.
Okay.
Because nitrogen becomes kind of toxic with increasing depth, and makes you, to put it easy, very very stupid. So you're not able to react properly in difficult situations, and that is not a very dangerous thing to do.
We see a third type of cylinder, which is solo cylinder. What it's all about?
Yeah, that cylinder is a 80 cubic foot cylinder, so roughly 11 liters of volume, and this contains an even higher percentage of oxygen, namely 50% of oxygen, and this is used when I do the deep dives with the Trimix to breathe this gas at the end of the dive
Okay.
at a maximum depth of 21 meters up to the surface.
Okay. So at that time, this means for deep sea diving, a diver would be carrying 3 cylinders.
Exactly, the doubles plus that.
Okay. So this it appears that this would be a bit tricky to carry these heavy cylinders, but we get to know more by seeing the assembly of it. And for that, can you tell the audience about the suits that you use?